ParaWorks is a new way for drivers to find high-paying job opportunities. You can claim these job offers to stack with your platform work and make your workday much more efficient and profitable. By uploading your gig work history and creating a ParaWorks profile, you'll unlock access to better, higher-paying driving gigs in your area. When a Para partner tells us they need drivers, we make sure you're the right person for the job, then notify you immediately. If you like it, it's yours. Your work history is your resume. Make it work for you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? As I was signing on here today, realized that, or I just saw a banner come up that Pedro is live. I didn't know. I thought Pedro was live an hour after this. So last week we started. I rolled it back a little bit. I might roll it back one more hour and have it be the hour before Pedro's, so that it bumps up to his. Yeah, because when possible, I try and avoid any conflict that might be beneficial to both Pedro and I to be synced up back to back, because then people that come in early for his catch some of this, and people that catch this go over and catch some of his, and yeah, so we try and support each other like that. So I'm gonna see what I can do, or I'm gonna ask him first though if it's weekly that he does it at this time, or if anybody in the chat comes in and knows the answer to that question. If it's always at this time on Wednesday, I'll just roll it back. I'll talk to him though. But yeah, we're here for the last mile. This is episode 2. This is normally going to have a runtime of about an hour. It will have, there might be episodes that go over, but I'm going to try and keep it right at the hour. So because it's a weekly show, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. And starting next month, going to have a lot of guests. And all guests are welcome to drop in, no matter which of the last mile apps you're either doing, want to do, are looking to pivot from traditional rideshare delivery, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all that kind of stuff, Instacart, any of those that are like the giants that you've been doing and are looking to make the transition over to last mile services. Some people call food delivery, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all those, they call those last mile food delivery services. So I guess it all comes in who's saying the definition. When I say it, I'm talking more about either B2B level or B2C, but where it's more, it's not food, grocery, or transportation of people related. And I also don't want to compare it to like an Uber Connect, because I think that's a more sketchy system. Even the ones I don't get as much, the apps I have for last mile that I don't see as much action on, still have a better system of actually dispatching and how they take in the orders and whatnot. Like I wouldn't do an Uber Connect, and I've been on the Uber platform since 2015, 2014. So started off doing rideshare, and I'm still on it. I've been active for Uber Eats, and I really don't do much food delivery. And when I do, it's usually just DoorDash, and trying to test a little bit out for Para and whatnot. So yeah, guys, it's for those of you that want to make that move. The reason is like I said, I do a show with Holly. I do a show with Hannibal on their channels. I work the Dumpling app. I work I work several apps, but most of my business comes from last mile apps. At this point, they pay better. There is a little more work involved. There is sometimes a little more travel involved, but that's a simple math equation that anybody can do. And if you need help with it, just reach out to me, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com. I can explain why. But miles are an independent contractor's best friend, and optimizing your vehicle in your time to make the most money is what we're all looking to do. I think a lot of people get a little hung up on the miles and think, well, I'd rather just do DoorDash in a very small radius and put no miles on the car. Um, to which I would say, if you don't have a very reliable vehicle, um, that's probably that's probably the best call. I mean, if you don't have a reliable car, if you have a reliable car that can get from A to B, even if it's just within the city, but get you around the city, you will make more on last mile services. And I can show anybody how in pretty much any market. I can't say it'll be Curry. For me, it's Curry hands down. And I am onboarding to more and more last mile apps. Part of this show is that I want to talk to you guys starting next month about I'll bring in a new app every week that either I've been doing like Dispatch. I'll start talking about a little bit next week, but I'm still going to talk about Curry. The show will kind of more or less focus around a lot of Curry stuff I do, unless something were to majorly change. But I still don't see that I wouldn't be doing a lot of Curry. So that will be the primary thing. Um, so we'll be talking about Curry. We'll be talking about Dispatch and all the other ones. There's a ton, you guys. There's like 20 some apps, and there's, as far as I can tell, I'm not even scratching the surface when I get to the internet listings, and those are a little different. But we'll go through all this. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Curry, and I got Josh from Philly is going to join me here. I got him backstage. I'm going to bring him out right now. And we're going to talk about some orders that I've seen this week and some stuff he's seen that he sent to me, as well as I know he maybe had even not the best experience yet. But Josh was a person who, or today he had on an order. So again, it's on an order. We all have our issues on an order. So I'm interested to hear about that. But I will say to you that anybody that is interested, you can join the live stream. You can join in the chat first. You can watch, you can learn. But if you are interested and we get to a point where it feels like, you want to join, this really is the show for everybody to join, almost like our old Sunday Fun Days Gary and I would do. Because a lot of the other shows that we do on this channel and on the other channels where I do things are very much specific to one thing, like dumpling. And yes, this is going to be very specific to Curry, only because I do the most Curry. It really is about last mile. In your market, Curry might not be there yet, or Curry might be there, but Dispatch might be the better one, or Bungie, or this, or that, or the other. So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at different markets. I know some people that I'm going to be having on in April don't do well on Curry, but crush it on Dispatch. So it really is where you are. We know this. Market to market matters. And yeah, I just have been doing Curry for a couple years now, and it's spring and it's popping again. So I kind of know that. I know that, right around this is like the last week of spring break out here in Colorado, where people come out, hit up the mountains pretty hard, and even hit up the city. So we're pretty slam packed. And then starting April, it's a little different. Um, we start rolling into spring, and until summertime, there's a couple months of not so much heavy travel to Colorado until the summer months. So it turns into um, a lot of optimization of lesser traffic. We still have a traffic problem. It's pretty bad, but it's a optimization, I feel like, and it's also spring as construction industry starts popping again, and it is just the time to be doing last mile. So this is why I started this time. And again, next week or next month, we'll be having all kinds of guests on. So yeah, just hang with us, and I'm gonna bring on Josh, and we're gonna do a little talking here. And by next week, I'll probably have a little more of a layout to this, but it'll always kind of be free flowing a little bit depending on the guests. So we'll see how it goes. What's up, Josh?
Oh snap! You got me on camera and everything, Steve. What's up, guys? Uh, who's in the chat? Light
Yeah, Light and Gigan.
and Gigan. And
Yep.
does Gigan do Target or the shipped route?
Yeah, he's up in Minnesota.
Oh man, I'm jealous of him. That's the one app I miss.
Shipped?
Yeah, shipped route. That was making money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
mean,
still on Shipped. You just can't make money on it anymore.
That's because you're not on ship the route, but he does. That was where
Well,
the money was at.
he's I don't know if you know this, but Minneapolis has one of the only Target shipped centers.
That's what
that
I
is-
was doing.
Oh, okay. So you have
And
one.
then I
Okay.
got
We don't have
deactivated.
one of those. So
Yeah, it's only in the 8 states.
yeah. So
And that was good money.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry to hear that, Rick. Blessings to you and your family, my friend. Drive safe.
Damn, Rick.
I'm on the Western
Sorry.
Slope a lot, so we'll definitely hook up for sure. Make sure that you touch base with me when you get out here. You know how to get in touch with me. Email me, Rick, and we'll swap out numbers too. Because again, I do a lot of Curri stuff over the other side of the state, so that's where you will be. So, but again, yeah, I'm very sorry to hear about your sister. And I guess drive safe moving out here. Because you're moving, yeah. And what's up, Chris? How are you? I don't have the privilege of sending these shirts out. I don't have like a bankroll of these or anything sitting around. So, but yeah, I mean, like,
me on here? Would you
I
bring
know,
me on here for so we talk Instacart, right?
yeah. Well, so I want to show. First of all, I want to show people because, like, you'll know, Josh. But a lot of people, I don't know if I've ever done this before. I've talked about it, but I want to show you guys like what something looks like. So, okay, look, when an order comes in, I hope I put these in the right order. Let me see. Okay, wait, okay, so yes, when an order comes in, like this order would come in and take away that part that says our system is still collecting driver responses. And it basically underneath that, it says, I'm interested. If you hit I'm interested, you see this. You see our system is still collecting driver responses and will contact you almost every single time, especially if an order's been there for a minute or two. Almost every single time, the next screen you're going to see after this is this.
Yeah,
so
every time.
And the problem is that you'll sit here or that a lot of people, I actually know people who at this point are like, damn it, and they close the app. What I tell you is when you see this, if you've just hit I accept, when you see this, sit there for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Within 15 seconds, you will have another response. And almost every time, especially if it's been sitting there, it's going to be this. You got it.
Every single time.
But the problem is that you got it doesn't come up before that top yellow part does that says you have shown interest in this delivery and are marked as a backup. And I know for a fact that has got people to close the app. Like, oh, damn it, I didn't get it. It would make sense, right? I mean, like, you think you didn't get it.
Yeah. But so if you close the app out, you won't see that?
Well, so sometimes I get an alert that says it, but I know to just wait in the app.
Yeah,
but sometimes that alert doesn't come through. So, like, what if it's a hot shot and you somehow miss the alert set on your phone that actually you did get this, and then you're waiting on the next one, but really you're supposed to be on that job.
And then you start getting the text messages you're about to get on assigned.
Yeah, exactly. So I
was getting that today.
But I wanted to show people this because when it does this, and when you say that green button underneath says just says I'm interested, I clicked it, wanted that. Boom. Looks like I didn't get it. And then you sit there for 3, 4, 5 seconds, which seems like a long time when you're staring at an app, and it still doesn't change. You got to wait more. It'll happen almost immediately. It will go to boom, and then you got it. So you got to wait through that yellow screen. Even though to me it appears almost like this one is saying you did not get it. You know, it even says marked as interested because you said interested. But then in your deliveries, you'll have a manifest. When you activate it the next morning, the manifest is all there. There's the order number. you see you're going, it says booked by Sherman-Williams Integration. So I know right there for sure. I already knew from the payload, but I knew right there that that's going to be paint. And just to show you guys what is it anyway on this one? 250 and 55. So what 305 pounds of paint looks like, because some people I think are getting thrown by this as well. This is that order. That's 305 pounds of paint. So it's
not a lot.
yeah, it's not
I
like,
can fit in that I can fit that in my car.
yeah, I mean, I got, Dana from Boston does Curri too, and he's been doing it a couple years as well. He's got a Prius.
Yeah, I got a little bigger than a Prius, but yeah, that's
Right.
no
But my
problem.
point is, like, this, he gets these into Priuses and then some.
You know what's funny? Sometimes I'll see them orders and they'll say requirement van, even though it's sent to me.
Yeah.
And I never know if I should take it or not because I know that I can
If it
take
if
the
it comes
weight.
through to your phone, it'll fit.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Because
don't
I
know
had
where
one
that is either, because if you've noticed, I don't know about for you, but often it'll say SUV or larger. That's me. But sometimes that whole field's left blank. It doesn't say anything specific.
Well, sometimes it'll tell you that what it is, and then it says requirement van, or it will say
Right.
fits in car or larger.
Right. Curri
But
is
if it's
taken, even if, like, let's say on the orders where it doesn't show what the payload is, and it says, let's say it were to say, hey, this is $100, you're going 20 miles. And we know how go. I mean, most of them are starting to be really good about showing details, but if it doesn't and you were to take it, it will fit into your car. I mean,
and
I
if
can
it
tell you that for a fact. Curri doesn't, even though we're not, and then I get like, well, why aren't we seeing what it is? If you know that's going to fit in my car, then
yeah,
somehow you know what it is. But it goes down to the customer input. And I know they're working on that, like getting customers to, I was telling them that I don't think, as I was trying to do this as a customer, not as a driver, but if I was a customer of Curri, in no way at all would I get angry, frustrated, or not use the app because if it forced the field of what the details of what you're carrying. I mean,
yeah.
those details don't need to have hex numbers like some of the Sherman-Williams do and all these strings of numbers you don't need. But to even just put what it is in total weight or dimensions or anything, that should be a
I,
forced field in mind,
I
my
think it
opinion.
should at least a weight and what it is. If it's like something humongous,
Right.
like a big drywall or something, like put that in there at least, or doorknobs. Like you had the
Yeah.
doorknobs. I mean, that might be a lot of weight, but it's still fitting in people's cars.
Well, I mean, I can show you something that's going to this will kind of amaze you guys. So this, I don't even know what this is, you guys, but I do a lot for Ferguson Plumbing. And so these I took yesterday. That right there. I can't even remember how many that was, 18, 19 or something, maybe a couple more. But whatever that is was 230 pounds. So it's deceitful. Like, I mean, it's 300 pounds for all that paint. That box is only just a normal box. Those things were like 18 inches long.
I picked up my first Ferguson today,
Is
and
this the is this the bad
yeah,
story?
this is the one that pissed me off. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Steve. I know it's
No, no,
yours,
no. You know what?
but
Let's because dude,
okay,
to just be one sided isn't fair, man. Let's
okay,
talk about it. I've
okay.
had
This is what
some.
happens. So I'm on my catering order this morning, and I see the app go off, and it doesn't appeal to me because I think it was paying like 40 bucks for 30 miles, but I was like 10 miles away from the pickup. So I let it sit, and then I get the alert. Another one from the same pickup going to the same drop off is now in there. So now it made sense to take both of them and double up. And so I get there, I accept both of them, get them, and I go to pick them up. And the guy said, "Oh, he texted me right away, like he said, hey, just pull around to where it was at." And I said, cool, thanks. I'll be there in like 20 minutes. I had to finish my catering order. So I get there. And I was like, "There's 2 orders on here." And he said, "Oh no, when I uploaded the thing, it kicked me out, and I had to re-enter it." So I said, "No problem. I take the pictures, upload it into my phone for both orders." And I'm driving, and midway I get this order was canceled. Well, now I'm pissed because I would have never took the order in the first place if it was just one of them. And
Right.
so Curry says they couldn't pay me. And of course, I got the lower paying order, not the higher paying one.
Wait a minute. So you had two of the, first of all, were they the exact same
Uh,
screens? Like
there,
the details shown of what you'd be carrying and everything, and the zip
um,
codes and the weight and the
well,
distance and
well, none of the details were in it. It just said pick up from Phoenixville, drop off in Coopersburg. I think that's where it was. So
but were
uh,
both offers as exact mirrors of each other?
I think so. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. But when I spoke with the Curry uh, support, she said, unfortunately, they cannot compensate me. And I was like, I can't even get half of, because I was explaining, I'm like, I would have never took it right away if I was only getting one of them. I took it because there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to look at it my way. Like,
Oh yeah.
I would have kept letting it go up and up and up a little bit before I took it. Like,
Right.
so,
If it was just going to be one.
yeah. So I took it was less than $1 a mile, and then it was 50 cents a mile when I factor in round trip because there was none to come back with. So that pissed me off a little bit. Like, I
I'll,
wasn't expecting the
I'm gonna
full
make sure. I'm
payout.
gonna make sure that the I'll figure out what the time. It's like 22 minutes in right now. I'm gonna make sure that the Curry team looks into this because there's supposed to be. I see those doubled up things too sometimes, and
Yeah.
well, I mean, where one of them is, I can tell. I've just been doing it long enough. Where one of them is, wait, um, where one of them is, they're mirrors of each other. It says Denver to Denver, and it says the 2 zip codes, and then on the other one, it's the same thing. And then I've even seen a little difference in the pay, and I just can tell by where the pins are dropped and everything. I'm like, these are going to the same place, and so it always makes me wonder if somebody screwed up entering, like you
Well,
just said, because I've even seen 3 or 4 to the same one, and then they all disappear.
with the guy that booked the thing, he said he got kicked out of the system when he was up doing it, and so he re-entered it. So there was the one was 50 something, and the other was 36, and they only paid me for the 36.
Wow.
So yeah, I was pretty heated. I just accepted the fact that I was gonna get screwed. Like, but I get it from their point of view, but they gotta
Well,
get it from my point of view too.
yeah, no, that's kind of, that's kind of what I make sure happens. I facilitate the driver advocate type stuff. So to me, I mean, Curry has they have a $10, 15, and I don't know if they still have the 20. They can get an override to even go higher because it's local. It's not outsourced out of country.
Yeah,
All the Curry team is based out, all the support teams based out of LA. So you're talking to people here in country who have a little freedom to give you something, and to me that's at least a $10.
yeah. I was only
You should
looking
have got
for at
a
least
canceled
15.
fee.
I mean,
Maybe I would have
I would have been
approached it a
happy
little
with.
different, but I still would be interested to hear the Curry teams. Like I would have called and said, "Listen, I only like you said, I only grabbed these because there were 2. I was grabbing them to stack them up. Now one of them's gone, and even though I still came out this way to pick up another one, you
Yeah,
know, and if that's
I might
exactly
have.
what you did, then I'm kind of surprised that's how it was handled. But I'll ask the Curry team because this is the stuff the people I know like to hear. They like to hear
I,
this to know, okay, well, wait a minute, because they're not the support agents that I know.
yeah, I can go after the live. I can go into the Curry app and screenshot the conversation with the support agent because it's still there.
Was it through chat?
Yeah.
So their chat is changing right now. They were using a chat. They stepped away from their old chat to move to one that I think has actually been a very problematic. I'm going to say that publicly. Actually, Curri has acknowledged it's been problematic, and they're getting rid of them. So it is what it is. They tried something that I think just like if I put in sometimes a chat message, and like I'd be way far from my house too, like they in the beginning of this integration of this new system. I don't want to give the company's name out who was doing the chat, because personally I don't think they did a good job, but it would have a clock that came on there that would say like usual response time 1 hour. And I was thinking, you know what, if I'm on a delivery and I call Curri, I get through to the voicemail or to a person. But if I do chat, it's always been somebody gets right back to me. When they switched to this one, they started putting this new hour thing up if they're not ready to roll.
Today.
And it says, hey, we usually get back to you within an hour. I had one I needed to be dealt with a couple weeks ago, so I had to get with somebody I know in logistics at Curri, because that hour when I logged back in, so I drove out of there. I had to leave it open. I couldn't close out the order. There was a bunch of problems involved with this. And somehow it froze up and whatever. And so, but I was able to get in there and do the messaging. And I got back home. And by the time I got back home, it actually, when I went back in there, it said, we respond to all messages within 24 hours. Then I was like, that's when I got with somebody. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And like, if you try to call them, they don't answer unless you're on an active delivery.
Right. Yeah.
So I was trying to call them when I saw it pop up, and I was like, but it was taking forever, so I hung up and went through the chat on the app.
So but did they cancel it in your?
They canceled it, and the reason they couldn't pay me, she said in the app, was it was a duplicate order. But you have to look at it from my view.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I'm saying it's not a full pay situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect a full pay. Just give me at least a half.
I mean, let me put it this way: if you'd have drove out there for one order, let's say that one order was good enough, you wanted it, and you'd have drove out there, you'd have got $20 for that.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
To me, it's like that's the argument right there. Is listen, if this wasn't a canceled order, I would have got $20. So why wouldn't I get 10 for stacking 2?
Yeah.
Again, Curri can work on that kind of level. It's not so black and white where the people talking to you have no pull at all and can't do anything. They can. They can.
No, I just wanted a little compensation because it would have made made me happier.
I've told Curri about the stacking because they weren't aware. I told them I've been stacking out of the Parker Sherman-Williams for months.
Yeah, I think that.
And they were like, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be doing this. This is what I told Alice, who's a good connected mind at Curri. I was like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be doing this, but every morning when they're scheduled, I stack them. I know what the weight in my truck is. And if they're leaving Sherman-Williams, I usually take 2 orders.
Yeah, I've done one successful stack, and like when I accepted both of them, because they weren't rush orders, so I contacted support and said, hey, I'm gonna do this one first, and then that, and she said that's fine. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show something here that actually kind of shows what you're talking about, because this happened to me yesterday, and man, it would have been great to get this first one too. But so first of all, I live in Denver. About 40 miles north of us is Fort Collins, and about 45, 50 miles north of that is Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I saw this order come up. 105 miles, Denver to Cheyenne, 135.69. I thought, man, unless this is stacked, it's, I love the big orders, but I'm not taking this. It's just,
it's a little,
it's not perfect. I'm coming back deadhead at 100 miles, so I'm not going to do it. Well, about, I don't know, let's say minutes or 2-3 minutes later, I had passed on this, and this comes through. $75 from Denver to Berthoud, which is basically Fort Collins. So I'm talking now about halfway to Wyoming. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if I grab this one, I can grab that other one, drop this one off first, and now we're talking, you know what, $210.69. So okay, I can do that. So I accepted this, and then this was gone, and somebody had taken it. And so I was livid because I was like, I don't want to go up to Fort Collins. Then, luckily, this came through. Like a minute later, Fort Collins to Cheyenne. But what I really needed to do was this and this.
Mm-hmm.
Because those, see, if they'd have sent those both out at the same time, here's the thing that I want even Curri to hear. Be honest with you guys, you're not going to like this one. But 135, 69, 110, right? If they'd have just showed me both of these stacked, they could have shown me 120 or $225. I would have taken it.
Yeah.
And it would have, obviously, that by me saying that, it would have been 245.69 as it is right now. 135, 110. But I'm telling you, I would have taken the 225 on that. It would have saved Curri a little money. That logistic was only 4 minutes apart. To me, that was like, man, you guys really, you dropped the ball, because that would have been huge. And we're trying to conserve gas. Why send two cars to do one man's job?
And then so you accept that one order, and then 4 minutes later the other one comes. You can't even accept the other one.
This one, I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Then this comes through, and I'm like, okay, I'll grab it. And I mean, like, I knew it was this had been sitting there for minutes, and I'm like, that's still gonna be there. I hadn't seen it raise in price, so I grabbed this, and then this one was gone, and then this one came up like another couple minutes later. Now, in my market, I get a lot of Curri offers in a day, a lot. So
there you go. And you get the good ones.
And some of them aren't as good. Like, we can go through yours, again.
No, you see them bad ones.
Right. I mean, but I see those too. But you got to realize that because I see more volume, I get some better offers. But I think that in the city, sometimes before the volume's up there, and we're coming into spring, I mean, things are about to get like they did. If it's like last year, things are about to get popping. But you're doing this just in your Honda, right?
In a little car, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, like I said,
yeah,
but like I said, a Prius or a Honda, these all work for a lot of people. I think back away, like, I don't think my car would work. They do.
Yeah.
It just, they'll only fit what they can into your orders. But I see orders like yours too, because I know you had some like this, to me, like, I've even done some of these, but I don't like to. I don't like it when it's not at least the $1 a mile. And I've told Curri that when they're sending you somewhere over 25 miles outside of the town, I'm looking for a different type of pay. And then here in the city, I'm looking for $3 to $8 a mile.
For like that order, I want $100 because that's taking me nowhere near. I can't even turn the DoorDash app on and dash out there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to do 100 miles, that's going to take, I know we can all say we drive fast and stuff, but picking up, pick up, drop off, drive both ways. This is 2 hours.
And that's back roads too, because there's no real highways to it.
Okay. So, but I mean, that's 2 hours of my time. Like, I don't do the Curri app for $25 an hour. If I am doing it for that, it's to like fill a little spot until the next good order comes through and I'm here locally in Denver. I would never.
Yeah, or it's going like 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah, I'm not going to do 50. These. Right.
Like that like one. This. I actually wanted to take that one. I know exactly where I was at. It was like a Friday afternoon, and I can't. Yeah. I had to be somewhere at 5 o'clock, so I know. Like, I was thinking, man, cool. That's
man. I'll be honest. On most days, I would take this.
Yeah, if like that was any day other than a Friday, I would have took that. Right. Just for the experience.
Yeah. And for the pay.
Yeah, I mean that too, but the experience is fun too.
Yeah. I mean,
And
oh wait, this is that
like,
same one.
yeah, that same one. Let's see.
Oh, whoops.
Like, okay, now what the heck? What are
Yeah.
people doing?
Well,
That
see, I'm also wondering how long ago these were because
that was
I
pretty recent.
I mean, and I was just gonna say, like a couple weeks ago, there was like a real low paying wave that came in. And I don't know what, even in my market, I don't know what happened. Like I was having to
And
really
then
be selective. And then just last week, kind of like middle of, and then early this into this week, it's really popped back up. Like, oh my gosh, we realized again, Curry's always changing. You guys, like they're always trying to improve something. And all I've ever seen is more transparency added time after time after time, like minutes to the location, miles from there A to B, where it's going to leave you. And even their pin drops have gotten pretty precise. I don't even know why they use the radius because usually those pin drops are exactly where you're going.
now, now we see this one, and then I showed you another one for the same pickup drop off. That now that no, it's that $86 one.
Okay.
Go to the yeah. Now that's the one I took. Now
Okay.
that same order went for $50 cheaper earlier.
Yeah.
Like, why do people not use common sense?
Well, so the
Like it's
Curry algorithm bumps it up pretty quickly, though. My guess is
yeah.
that if it was at whatever you said it started at, $20, what, 25?
That started out at like $34, and
Okay, so
I live
the Curry
literally.
algorithm, that's why I tell drivers, dude, don't take it if it doesn't look good. And like in my market, drivers have gotten pretty good about this because sometimes it takes a little bit for a Curry offer to go up. But when Curry knows in their algorithm, man, that's a low bid. They make it bump up quick. They're like,
Oh,
dude,
they do.
they'll
And,
bump this thing right up. They'll be like, no, $34 ain't worth it to our
yeah,
drivers.
like that that for something that came in the day before that went up pretty quick, and I'm like sitting here, I'm like, I'm gonna let this go up as much as I can because I'm 5 minutes away from the pickup, and the drop off is easy as can be. And
Right.
then as soon as I drop that off, I can jump on the turnpike and go to my DoorDash center. I'm like, this is easy. And no one kept taking. I'm like, damn, somebody's really not going to take this. And I got it
No.
for 82, and it took me 90 minutes for round trip from pickup to where I was going to my DoorDash zone, which is like 30 miles away.
Let
For
me see. Let me see if this is. I think I have one to talk to kind of showcase what you're talking about here. So, okay. So let me see. Yeah. Okay. So this is how the order started. Okay. 25 items, 10 pounds, 5 items, 11 pounds, 12 miles, $29. North Glen to Superior. Pretty easy driving. Nothing real crazy about this. But still, I was like, well, it's in the morning. It's a pickup. And I like my scheduled mornings. This one was coming in pretty early. So I'm like, I'll wait to see what else comes in. And this went up to this when I picked it up.
you, you know what's funny? I've noticed that the ones like that are like less than 20 miles are the ones that go up and no one wants them.
Right.
Like,
Well, because a lot of the Curry drivers are driving cargo vans, trucks. Dude, they don't like city miles. You know what I mean? They're not
because
looking to drive around the city in their cargo van. That's not
okay, I
that's not
got
good
that.
mileage. It's not a good ratio.
Because there'd be
So,
times where I see one Sherman Williams and I got like three Sherman Williams in like a like 10 mile radius, and I can get them to go up like they'll start out at like a dollar a mile, and I can get them up to like $5 a mile without no one touching them. But
yeah.
then you get the long mile ones, and they get them taken up right away,
Yeah,
even
I
if
mean,
they're under a dollar.
yeah. Um I think I've talked to Curry on several occasions about trying to be better about the coming out price because again, look at this. And this is only maybe 8 minutes before it got up to here over 4 price increases. So over 8 minutes, there were 4 price increases, which is actually pretty quick. Usually it's about 10 minutes in between a price increase.
Because I've noticed the price increases, they'll be like, most times it's 5 minutes, about 5 to 8 minutes, they'll jump. But recently it's been like every 2 minutes.
Right.
And it's like, wow. And people, like, I get people are impatient. Like yesterday, I took one, it was $43, but it was taking me exactly to my house. And I was up, I was already done for the day. I was just out just killing time. So I was like, I took this order, even though it was like 90 cents. I could have waited another, but I just wanted to be home. So I took it, paid for my miles to go home, and I was already done for the day. And I was over 300 by 2:00.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but most times I want at least $1 a mile, or at least a
Yeah.
dollar.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
at least a bare minimum $1 a mile.
Yeah.
It has to take me somewhere it's going to make sense for me to go.
Right. And then just like all these apps, you get to know, like, okay, so I took one yesterday that kind of exactly talks about what you're saying, but even takes it a step farther. Like I waited to like this one. Okay, so or no, this one. So I got back home after doing some other curries. I'm all the way back home, and there was a Denver to Frederick. Now I knew it's 29 miles. I knew I'm not going to get it coming back. I never see many Frederick to Denver. I just don't. So I'm like, this is going to be deadhead miles coming back. And that's when you go north of Denver, it kind of gets dead for curry work. So I don't mind doing it when the pay is right. But this was like my entry level because I'm like, okay, we're over $1 a mile for the round trip.
Mm-hmm.
So going out of town, I usually look at the miles I'm going, and my base level is like $2 a mile to go out of town or to leave Denver, because then I know if I do $2 a mile, I'm getting $1 a mile both
Round
ways.
trip.
That's the way I look at it. So to do that, I just say 2, and I usually would have waited a little more, but I'd had a good day. I wanted to take this. I wanted to knock it out. And so I did pick it up, but this is normally not one I would have taken. It came in, you can see 11:41 a.m. I mean, that's going to be right around lunch. I mean, that's a lot of things can happen, and I might have missed out on some other things. So,
yeah, I feel like that order is like riding to Allentown from me. Like about the same miles. I've never seen an order. I've seen them very rare coming from Allentown and if I do see Allentown, it's Allentown to going up north even more, so I'm further away from home. So it never makes sense to take one unless you're getting paid at least $2 to go to Allentown.
yeah. Let me see. I want to see if I can get into. Hey, what's up, Sean? How are you? Let's see. Is driver location to merchant closest a part of the algorithm choosing the driver? Wait,
I think he means when they send it out.
Right. So is driver location to merchant? You mean to pickup? When you say merchant, are you meaning like my location to the pickup location?
It does start out that way, doesn't it?
I mean, it should, but let's be honest, it also takes into, like it does a system of a round robin, but it does, sometimes you will see a little ticker going down. And when you actually are getting in there, you're getting in on the first time offer to you. That is just you. Again, that's an example of Curri improving something. They used to just do the round robin. Now they do this where it's still going to do those weird screens where it looks like you didn't get it and you got to wait and you did get it. But when it is the ticker and it's counting down, you see it going from green to red, from right to left. It means if you take it, you got it. That one's not going to go into the round robin. So yes, it's supposed to net people together, or it's supposed to net this group of drivers are closest. Let's send it out to the 5. But sometimes, depending on the amount of drivers, and again, these are just logistical challenges, but if your drivers are all working and they're driving all the opposite direction, they kind of have some of this figured out, and they start saying, okay, you know what, send it out to each driver, the first 3 closest kind of thing. And that's when they'll do those where you can just have it if you want it.
You'll also see when it sends it, it'll say X amount of drivers are interested in this order.
Yeah,
In the
I feel
banner.
like that's when they're trying to push a bad order.
Yeah, I've seen that, and they are bad orders.
You know, because guys, just like everything, there are some like not great orders on Curri. But here's the I've told Curri this. They know, they're aware. They know what's going on. But here's the thing, it's fully transparent. I mean,
And
you can't be
also,
pissy about it, because that's all I've been fighting for all the platforms. I mean, if DoorDash was 100% transparent on their pay, where you're going, all this showed you everything up front, no games. Really, there's no reason in the world anybody could be mad at DoorDash.
and also, if Curry sees these people are taking these orders that are real low, they're gonna off. I mean, I get it from their standpoint too, but it's like if people would just wait 5 or 10 minutes, they would get an extra $20 on that order. But so many
Well,
people are impatient.
there's a new guy on the Curri team. He might even be listening into this. I don't know. Jesse, if you are, welcome to the Curri family. I know he's been here a couple months, but Jesse was a logistical engineer over for JB Hunt. If any of you guys ever on the highway
I
have
know what
seen
that is.
JB Hunt trucks, JB Hunt trucking fleet, they're nationwide. They're huge. He was a logistical expert over there at JB Hunt that came over to Curri. And so he's been looking to kind of clean up the customer side of it, which then portrays kind of what Josh and I are talking about right now. Some of the challenges with like, well, wait, why is this pay so low? But this other one for half the miles pays 3 times as much. There's just some
All the time.
inconsistencies. But again, you're seeing it all. So you get to decide. It's all up to you. And you're not being scammed. This is where you're going. This is it.
Now, Steve, I will admit I did cancel one order one time, and I'm in the back of my head the whole time. I'm like, Steve's gonna kill me if he finds out that I canceled his order. But I did have a valid reason why I canceled it.
All
So
right.
I showed up, and I'm getting totally ignored. I'm there like for 40 minutes without being like helped at all, and I had a catering order I had to pick up. So I'm like, I'm asking the guys like, what's the ETA on this? And he just kept like giving me the runaround on it. So I mapped out how far I had to be for this catering order. So I knew I couldn't keep this order. So I canceled it. And the whole time I'm thinking, I hope that I just didn't piss off Curry to get kicked off. But I did keep getting orders, but I get they want people to not be
Yeah.
canceling the orders. But I was like, I'm getting ignored. I'm here for this long. I'm not getting anywhere with this order. So, and I had to be somewhere else. So I was like, I just gotta cancel it and take the risk that I
Look,
don't.
I'm gonna be honest with everybody. The cancel feature on Curri is there because they'd rather you cancel than screw around and just not show up and really have them be confused. Like, is he going for this? Is he not? What's going on? But again, they do frown on the canceling because people pay a lot of money for these last mile orders at last minute. So hotshot runs, they do frown upon. But I think you're like a perfect example. Canceling one is okay. What they're not looking for is they don't want all these gig workers from these other apps to come over with the bad habits of unassigning or at how free of will you do it on the other apps. On this
Yeah,
app, it's important that you don't do that. I mean,
I feel like
Josh doing it once, that should be okay. And I'm glad it didn't end up badly.
yeah, I
You
was
know?
nervous, but that day I kept seeing orders, and I was like, all right, so maybe it's not that bad. But
Right.
because I've never been late or been
Yeah.
any bad like rapport with any of my pickups when I have done. Like I've always completed them. That was the one time I ever did it, and it was like the whole time I was nervous. I'm like, I hope Steve doesn't. I hope Steve, when he finds out, he doesn't kill me for it because he did work hard to get me on the platform. But it did. I do not cancel orders unless you have a valid reason, like a car broke down or something. Like I just don't. You don't. There should be no reason why you do.
So I'm trying to read Chris's thing here. So Steve, I got back up last night because another driver got it. I was looking to see if you had a previous comment. I didn't see it, but I'm guessing you've just meant an order. So you got back up because to see if another driver got it.
Oh, I know what he means. He was the backup driver and he got the order because somebody canceled it. I've had that happen.
Right, but I got back up last night because another driver got it. Oh, okay. So somebody can't. Okay, so the driver canceled. He got the. So I guess the dude didn't show up. Wait, was this a last night pickup?
It was probably an early morning.
Right,
pickup.
but he got back up last night. It was assigned, but he says the dude didn't show up and give it to me, and I was oversleep. I'm a little confused on this comment, only because I mean I think I get it, but I'm not sure. Like, if you are you saying that, Chris, that you got the, like Josh was saying, that you got the order last night
Is he
because somebody
saying,
canceled, you picked it up, and then you didn't get up to do it, or was the
yeah,
confusion this morning because the other guy didn't get there?
it sounds like from reading his comment,
Yeah.
he was the backup driver, didn't realize he got the order, and he was oversleeping, and he missed the order.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got thrown off by, I guess, the dude didn't show up because he wouldn't have had if it got reassigned to you that night, he wouldn't have even had it the next morning.
So he said, no, they assigned me the order in the morning.
Okay. So, yeah. So, hi, Marissa. Yeah, Chris has got a Mazda 3.
Is Chris the guy that was on here before with you? Or is that
No,
another one?
Chris hasn't been on here before.
Who was that guy from Boston?
That's Dana. Yeah.
Okay.
He's been doing it about as long as me. So, let me see. What's up, Ben? Is there enough cargo work? Yes, absolutely. For an SUV. Oh, for an SUV. First of all, the hour, like when you do it 10 hours a day max, and no trips beyond 50. I mean, I think that for me personally, I'm just going to tell you my opinion. No, because I don't have those kind of limiters on what I'll do with Curri. So to make the kind of money I do on Curri, you have to be open to over 50-mile trips. You
Yeah,
have
50
to.
miles is pretty low.
I mean, I don't know what city you're in, Ben, but like, if it's as good as mine, I don't think you could on some days, but it would be tough to pull a $250 day in just Denver. You could do it. I mean, absolutely could. But
Doing it.
Usually, here's what would happen. You'd end up doing a Denver run, and another good one would come in while you're doing that one. And now you can actually accept a Curri when you're on a Curri, but it's still a little complicated. There's some changes being made, but again, I think that you have to take the limiters off and say, like me, like 10 hours a day max. I try and do like 6 hours a day max with Curri because I get up in the morning and do the scheduled ones and just stick with it. They usually will give me waves to ride up till about lunch. And then if I do go back out like I did the other day, it has to be paying pretty well. Because once I get home and I've done 3, 4, 5, I'm usually done. So, and then I have other things to do. It's not like, but I mean, part of it's that I get up at 5 in the morning to do my scheduled runs, 5:30. So I actually, it is a lot different than these other gig workers, ride share like I used to do, or food delivery. These people aren't getting up at 5 a.m. Most of them.
I was up at 4:30 the other day.
Yeah. So I mean,
and I was home by 2.
Yeah. I mean, see, I prefer that. I prefer.
Me too.
Yeah,
I want to be home early.
Yeah, I'd rather get home before traffic and be home, be able to relax and all that. But again, Ben, I put what city you're in, but I don't know. You can only
Now, Steve, how many Curri orders do you see on a day? In a day,
it depends. Like oddly Tuesdays, and I've got it down pretty well to be. I've waited to make this comment, but Tuesdays and Fridays are the best day. Because Tuesdays, I say that because a lot of people don't schedule Mondays.
It's
Like
the week,
they
the
schedule through the
weekends.
week, and they'll like on tomorrow on Thursday, they'll definitely schedule at the end of a workday for a Friday morning hotshot run because they ran out of this, this, and this, and they need to get it done before the weekend. So they need these last minute orders. So but then Mondays are always, there are some scheduled that comes in on Sunday for Monday, but Monday usually throughout the day, there's a ton coming in for the
Yeah,
next day.
but Monday, I'm somewhat like the same way. Like, Mondays are more, I don't see scheduled ones. I see them just randomly throughout the day come up. But the rest of the week, I'll see some scheduled ones.
Yeah, Ben, there is no limit. I think Chris was just saying, he said you can only do 2 to 3 per day. I've done like 8 in a day, 9. So that's not right. I mean, most markets won't see more than, I think what Chris is saying is most markets won't see more than 2 to 3 options. And when I say that, I mean like even the scheduleds that I'll get here shortly, it's almost 3 o'clock here. Usually around like 3, 4 o'clock till about 6, all the scheduled start coming in for tomorrow here in Denver. So I'll get a bunch coming through, but that's when I got to play that game a little bit because I got to look at it and say, okay, this one's over here, this one's here, this one. It's not always what's the actual dollar best because sometimes that pickup might be on the other side of town from me. And then there's one for just $20 less where I'm gonna make 80 instead of 100, but the pickup's 4 miles from me. So sometimes you got to like weigh in a lot of that kind of stuff. So I think what Ben's trying to say is 2 to 3 per day because even on the scheduled, sometimes they're all over the city and they're all at like 7 a.m., let's say. So how are you going to be everywhere at once? You can't. You can learn some locations like I do and try and stack Sherman-Williams paint and things. But like here in Denver, you can on most days you can stay pretty busy.
I
So
could. The most I've done is 3 in a day,
yeah.
and I mean that's pretty good. Like for being a car driver, to have 3 orders in a day, that's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty limited. I've only ever like today was the first day I ever did anything that wasn't uh, Sherman Williams or a company called U.S. Supply,
Yep.
and
Was it
and
U.S.
most of
Supply or
my
U.S. Electric?
I've done U.S. Supply. I have 2 of
Okay.
those in my area, and today was the first time I've done a Ferguson,
Yeah,
and I have
Ferguson's plumbing. So
I have 2 Fergusons in my area, and
yeah,
one of them is on your favorite app, Instacart.
yeah, right. Well, Ferguson does a lot of work with Curry. They're national. They're a big one here too. I mean, they're probably the second biggest to Sherman-Williams, but I mean, every time that's not even close. Sherman-Williams pays way more. So
Yeah,
I'm just being honest. I'm just being
I let
honest to the plumbing people because I like you guys too. You guys have sent me some really good offers, but
the painting people. The painting people do pay the better
yeah,
pay
they do. They
price.
do. I mean that
And
stuff, especially as we roll into spring and all the construction that's been done. I mean, there's gonna
yeah, I
if
would.
you live in a market where there's snow ever, like I
Yeah,
know Josh does, I do. So like when we get cold and stuff and it's freezing, you already can't leave paint outside anyway because it'll freeze. But some of that even slows down, and then they have to play major catch up on the painting stuff. Like come spring.
which is funny for like I think like the month of February. I think I seen like 3 or 4 orders the whole month, and I'm like, but it was like it was freezing. Like not,
Yeah,
it wasn't snowing at all, but it was just so cold that there was nothing to
yeah,
like. I couldn't see construction workers working that much,
right.
and if
And
they
it's
were,
and especially some of the stuff we are moving around, like paint and stuff.
yeah,
You wait on those jobs because
it was funny. Like from January to or like from December to just recently, it's been usually just Sherman Williams to Sherman Williams deliveries for me.
I know, which is that's really funny. What's up, Flex?
Uh,
How are you?
well, the guys say they're told not to order a lot so their trucks aren't as coming in as often as they were before.
Yeah.
So that's why they need them.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I just lost my place. Okay. I got 30. Wait, I got 30 Steve for a cancel order. I couldn't fix on my car warehouse.
Couldn't
Okay.
fit in my car.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
warehouse fan.
Oh, he couldn't fit a warehouse fan in his thing. See, but that's okay. The 30, that's what I'm talking about. That's fair. You got there and they took care of, because Curry, unlike some of the other platforms, they don't like that. They're not just like send it to the next driver. We don't care. Like they care a lot. I think of them as the top shelf, in the last mile
It
space.
does seem like
So
that way.
yeah, so it's like they will take care of you, because they're like, this is wrong. Why did he get this if it doesn't fit?
And
So
even when even the one or two times I've taken an order that got double booked, the support agent gave me somewhat of a payout for it. I'm like, I didn't expect a full payout for a canceled order, but like it just shows they actually do care. Like DoorDash would tell you, kick rocks.
right, exactly. And here he's saying that people here are too desperate. Those orders in New Jersey are gone in seconds. To that, I say that means your market isn't fully developed yet, and also it means some people crossed over who have bad habits from other apps. Because I can tell you from talking with the Curry people, here's what I've told them. Listen, when you put out the really low ball orders under $1 a mile, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the gig workers that you are trying to not get. That's when you're going to get the people who are like, just let me try it. And they're going to be gone in a few months, or else you're going to deactivate them for canceling too many times or something.
Yeah.
But you're going to be through more headache than if you just try and, kind of make sure that there is some kind of like, hey, like a path to making sense with pricing stuff for the customers, because people will get on the app and they probably onboarded people and they're trying to figure out in your market who's good as they're acquiring new customers. And I know that I can't talk about it, but there's one huge national customer coming on this spring, all for the summer and for like a 2-year contract, very big. And that will change every state, every city, every market. Like if you live, if we use the NFL city thing on the Curry platform sometimes. If you live in an NFL city that has an NFL team, you will see a huge increase in some of the orders coming up, and even other cities. But I'm just saying, like in those alone, like you'll see it. But this might be a stupid. What's up, Sean? What's the stupid question? But I'm asking anyway. How did you unload that 239 pounds? Oh, I got so they didn't have a dolly. A lot of times they don't have a dolly at the locations, but you can always find something. So I went and got like a roller cart. I don't know if you've ever been into a lot of warehouses, Sean, but a lot of them just have like these plastic roller carts with 2 levels, like you'd push meals on or something, and they just let me
I
use one
have
of
a
those.
I have a cart for catering that I use from
Right, and I
the
do too. So I can always pull that out, but I try and use their stuff because you're usually doing B2B stuff. So other than like pre-build houses, you're usually delivering to somewhere that probably has access to something if you just ask. So I would just always ask. Otherwise, I mean, if it really came down to it, I'm not going to carry in groups of pipes. If I, and I'm not going to break my back grabbing that whole 239 pounds in an Amazon box that we taped up at the shop so that I had something to carry them in. I mean, because the guy had them like, piled on the floor. I'm like, can I have a box or something? Like, he's like, yeah, man, of course. So, yeah, I
I
mean,
need one.
I mean, the waiting list, I can't really speak for that, but I can speak for sure that Curry picks up in every market they're in big time come April.
Um, yeah, my one friend was asking because he has a good job, but he likes to do things on his days off, and he does Instacart, and he says, "Man, these payouts really suck," and I'm like, "That's why I don't do it." And I told him about Curri, and I said, "Sign up for this, and you'll be waitlisted for a little, even with the SUV you have."
Right.
But I was showing him some of the payouts that I've seen, and he's like, "Man, I would do that on my day off." Like he would do that one that was in Williamsport because he has nothing else to do. And like Williamsport is 4 hours away from me, but he doesn't care about the money. He just wants to get out of his house because his he gets bored on like his 2 days are off or Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So it's not like it's a weekend job. Like he actually works on the weekend as
Sure.
W-2.
Yeah. It says so Chris says I couldn't do one today because everything was on NYC, and the one I saw on New Jersey was too far away for pickup. So you're seeing the New York ones too. So I would imagine the NYC ones are pretty good. And by the way, not every city, so you would have to check in your market, but I can speak for Chris here. Anything going into NYC or out of NYC or whatever, Curri does pay the tolls. Just FYI.
Even in Pennsylvania?
Coming out of New York?
Oh no, like when I take a run
I don't
on the
know.
turnpike.
You would have to check. Like in my market, they do pay the tolls here.
Okay, so
In some markets, they pay the tolls. You just got to check.
I've never worried about it just because I have the easy pass and I just write off on the taxes.
Yeah, but I do know that everyone leaving or coming into New York, wherever there's a toll road, they'll pay it because that's expensive
New
to go to
York's
New York.
expensive. That's
So
funny.
they just pay those.
Because I'm supposed to meet Gary in New York on Saturday, and I was looking. It's like $40 to go for the tolls in New York from Pennsylvania.
Right.
That's that's crazy.
Like I just saw this come in out of the corner of my eye. It's probably for tomorrow, but requests. Okay, so there's a lot of weight there, but so 4029 for 7 miles for almost, it looks like about, what is that? About 450
See, I would want that to go up
458
more.
pounds. What's
And it
that?
wasn't for the miles; it's for the weight.
Right. I would
I
wait
would
on this
want.
one a little bit.
I would want
However,
it to be.
this Parker location is the Sherman Williams Super Center of Denver. It's down by where Tony and Lisa the Drivens live, and so this is where I watch for another one to stack because a lot of ones will come in there. So I might end up taking this, probably not, unless it went up. But this is that's a location I try and stack schedules out of every morning.
Now, what's your what would you want that to be if you could take it?
50.
Okay, see, I was thinking higher. I was thinking 70.
Yeah, I mean 70 is $10 a mile.
And I'm only thinking it because of the weight of how much is in there.
Right, I know. That's why I was showing people in the beginning what 300 pounds looks like. I think people get thrown by that. Like, what does 300 pounds of paint even look like?
300. Just when I look at the weight, I just think of it as another human being. Like if it's 150 pounds, I'm thinking, okay.
I think they mean I think to most people they don't understand the cubic inch weight ratio. So what does 300 pounds of paint look like?
Yeah,
and it's like that's what it looks like. The way I say it is, look, I think it's those 5-gallon buckets usually filled up. Those are right around 50 pounds.
Okay, I thought it was like 40, but you're probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was 306 pounds between 6 buckets. So
yeah, it's not. I mean, when I put 6 buckets in my car, I was getting kind of nervous, but my car wasn't low. It didn't lower or anything, and it looked fine.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see if anybody else had a make you do on having the use of wait, what is Roy trying to say here? Having the use of others people's stuff, does that make you an unprepared contractor? Having use of this must be for somebody else. I don't know. I don't know what that's related to, Roy.
Go more into detail, Roy.
I have a dolly that I use to carry my. Yep. Yep. And you can get ones that actually can do up to like 600 pounds that still fold up and collapse. And I actually, if you're going out and buying stuff, I would recommend to do that. Not because you're going to take 600, but they're just a little more sturdy than like some of the things people buy for DoorDash and stuff because you're just not taking that kind of weight.
Light has a good question just now. He says, Steve, how easy is it while on an active order to search for another curry? They pop up on your
So
phone.
yeah, I mean, even if you have the app open, it's just going to pop up in the
Like
queue
the little
there.
banner.
Yeah, but you can even you could leave it on requests and just be watching it come in or watch prices be going up. So it's super easy. It needs to make sense to them. That is one of the times when they actually use that 30 seconds to make sense of it. If you say I want that, because they will look then at, okay, this is where he was, because again, it's pinging your location. But if you're on an active order, it's not like DoorDash where you're within a 5-mile radius. Now they need to look at where's he going on this order. And they see, oh, he's going to Colorado Springs. He can't do that other one. Take him out of the equation.
Yeah. Now, unless that's a non-rush order, right?
Right.
If it was
well, if it's not a rush, yeah, there's other orders that say pick up after 8 and deliver before 2:30.
Yeah, I've seen
and then there's schedules, and then there's hot shots, and the hot shots are the ones that need to go right then. So those are usually the ones that pay the best. But I'm a fan of the scheduled ones too, because the schedules you can take a little time look at.
Well, it was funny. The one day I was dropping off at a U.S. supply store, and the guy, when I got there, was like, "Do you mind running this over to another guy?" So he asked me, "Do I want it to be scheduled or a rush delivery?" He said, "Which one pays better?" I was like, "I guess rush one does," because I wasn't too sure. I didn't know the difference, but he put, and as soon as he did, I got it. I mean, I got it, showed up on my phone, and I took it right away. But it was like an extra 3 miles to take the item that I was delivering to him to deliver it to another house. So I was like, I made out well on that one.
Yeah, for sure. So when Roy's saying no, using somebody else's cart or dolly instead of having your own, I do have my own. I just, most of the locations I go to when they're B2B, they're already a warehouse business, and they have like 8 dollies out. So it's like they don't care. I'd much rather use their one than my foldable.
Yeah,
I'd much rather just go grab one of their dollies and they never care. I mean, again, if it's a business that doesn't have one, I'm not going to look unprofessional. I am ready. And actually, it's a good point that Roy made, because if you go into the driver app and you go into your profile on Curri, you'll probably see a bunch of blank fields. You can add things in there. Like there's one that says, what kind of equipment do you have? That's where you put in dolly, two wheel, or, you can put in you can put in all the different names for it. And they use a hashtagging system in case any customer specifically asks for things like that. Like Xander did, Xander in California and LA put PPE. So if somebody, I know we're kind of out of that phase, but if somebody wanted somebody who would wear a mask, maybe they're immunocompromised, I don't know, or something. And if you have PPE, you're very likely to get matched up to that. So it is worth going into the profile and adding some things if you have them. Even like moving blankets. Like mine has like moving blankets too.
and one of them's like steel tip shoes or something.
Yeah. Do you have steel toe shoes? Because like certain sites don't want you on there without them.
Hard hat
So
was one.
yeah.
But it's all just common sense things.
So Jason,
It's not too.
so let me see. If you get hurt with their dolly, could you sue them because it's their equipment? I'm shocked because they will be, I think you mean liable. I don't know. First of all, I guess that's a hard question for me to answer because A, I've never been through that. But B, I wouldn't sue somebody unless there was something legit to sue them for. Like if I'm saying to them, I don't want to pull my crappy dolly out because yours is better. Can I use yours? So either way, I would have been using a dolly. And now I come out to my car and use theirs and I slip and fall and it's totally my fault. Whereas opposed to like maybe there was a spill of something slippery and I fall because of their fault. That's how I would determine. Nothing would be determined about the dolly. It would be determined about the conditions of their warehouse.
Yeah.
Like I would never sue. Like if I used their dolly and I slipped and fell and it was my fault, I would never sue somebody for that because it was my fault. I was going to use a dolly either way. So there would have to be something majorly wrong at the warehouse. And if you've done a lot of warehouse deliveries or any people that have, you probably know very few warehouses. They might not be like what you'd call, the place you want to hang out all night, but they're very organized. Their floors are very clean, dry. Everything's palletized. Everything's very easy to, it's, if their dolly has, again, I don't know. I mean, like, are you talking about if something broke my foot, came off the dolly? I don't know. There's so few situations I would sue over that I just don't, I guess I can't really relate to that question. How hurt did I get and was it their fault? I guess is the equation. Like, and was it their fault in my opinion? Not like, could I sue them? You can sue somebody over everything. But was it was it their fault? I mean, to me, that's like the DoorDash question about, if I trip and fall because somebody had poor lighting on their porch, am I going to sue them? Here's my answer. No, I'm not. I mean, you might have a lawsuit there, but I mean, like, lawsuits are a big pain. They cost a lot. Even if you win, they take away from your life and everything else. So no, I'm not going to sue somebody because they have a little break in their cement where you accidentally trip on something and it was dim lighted, not well lighted. So to me, that's just part of gig work. It's like pay extra attention, be safe. So yes, I guess if the safety of the environment of the warehouse were something to be questioned, yes. Obviously, my hospital bills have to be paid. I don't want to be doing it. So there's a point where, of course, you look at that, but I would hope I don't have to get there with any gig apps. So, I've hurt myself a few times just doing stupid things. I don't like sue people. I just take a day off and ice my foot or something, but that's about an hour 18. I don't know, Josh, what else you got? You got any words of wisdom for?
I have nothing else but stay out of off Curri if you're in my area.
Yeah. So Josh doesn't want competition, so
please
work in Philly.
I'll pay you to not get right on there.
Yeah.
She's been begging to get on there.
Yeah, I know, and I know so many people are waiting, you guys. I mean, the Curri team pops into these and they watch them. So they follow what's going on with all this, and they love hearing what markets you guys are in. They're in touch with all of this. And trust me, the waiting list is there for a reason. It's there so that good offers can exist. Because they're trying to be better than the other apps. So you got to take the waiting list for what it is. It sucks if you're on it. I get it. But when you get off it, you'll know why there was one, and you'll respect the fact that there is one. So, because you don't want you wouldn't want them just letting the floodgates going, screw it, let everybody on. that would instantly destroy the app. Plus, they would be going. They don't like going through drivers. They like people to enjoy Curry, enjoy the pay, and to be able to make money on it. They want their drivers happy. This is actually, I know it sounds very foreign to all of us because the other apps don't care about us. And I'm not saying Curry's like, if he doesn't make it on the Curry app, we're just going to close the business. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they do care about the drivers. They want the drivers to be happy. So, I mean, it's the business. It's not like even in the food delivery game where it's like really about getting the food, even though it should be. Yes, it's about getting the last mile products to where they need to go, but it's also making sure the drivers are taken care of. So, I know Josh, he's in a car. Dana's in a car. Dana does very well in Boston. Depends on your market, depends on your vehicle. If you have switched vehicles, I would recommend letting Curry know, not just simply by switching in the waiting list app your vehicle out, but by letting Curry know that you got a bigger vehicle or something. And I would also recommend any of you that might have that use like a car for delivery service apps or rideshare or Instacart or grocery apps or whatever you might be doing, but maybe you have a pickup or a van or something that sits in your garage and you really don't use it because it's not your primary vehicle. I would recommend maybe putting that one on the Curry, and checking out what that does, because there is something to be said about bigger vehicles for sure. So bigger vehicles, bigger orders, more pay. Say one thing I would change about Curry. Has to be something. So, well, yeah, I mean, I've got a few things that I tell them, but I mean, I think we went through one of them today. Don't send out the super low ball offers. I don't have the logistical solution for that, but as a driver, I can speak fluently and say, look, this isn't like the other apps, and we don't like seeing those. And the very rare people who do take them just screw up the algorithm for other orders that day. So they start thinking, oh, the people will take this. And then actually Curry has actually learned from this too. They've learned this doesn't help us.
And it also makes, I don't know on you, but because you see so many, but it makes me want to start taking it. Because I'm like, man, I want to get back in the game, but these people keep taking these orders, and it's like, it's annoying. Yeah. It kind of ruins the app.
Yeah. Well, I think that those kind of people will give up because, as you know, Josh, there's a little more that goes into a Curry delivery. So if you're taking something for $11, $16, you're going to learn a lesson on that trip.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be like, what's he been talking about? This sucked. And I would say to that person, I would say, no, you picked incorrectly. Don't, from the get-go out of the gate, acceptance rate isn't even a thing. It's not even on there. Doesn't even matter. And not only does it not matter, they don't even show it to you because they don't think it should be in your head. It doesn't matter. You're an independent contractor.
It doesn't.
Right. And it doesn't, and it shouldn't.
All that matters is, the only thing that matters is completing the order.
Yeah. If you take it, complete it. But I would say, I've told Curry, look, I don't even look at offers for less than $20. I don't care if it's going 1 mile. If it's $18 for 1 mile, I'm still not doing it because that usually involves going somewhere that's industrial, getting something and moving it somewhere else. So I'm not going to do that unless it's in 20 plus.
Yeah, I don't. I usually target around the 40 plus range, but I will take like 20 to 30 if it's a couple miles, and especially like, I mean, I'd rather do that than sit around and wait for a $6 McDonald's order. Yeah. And half the time I can keep them apps on and still do my Curry by the time I get to find an order.
Yeah. And Curry likes activity too, guys. That's why they do that soft deactivation if you don't take an order for a while.
Thank you. I give Lisa crap about this all the time because Lisa cries about how she doesn't see orders. I'm like, you don't take orders.
That's why.
That's your and so you can't complain that Curry doesn't work for you when you've taken 2 orders in the year you've been on that.
Yeah. See, I'd even question, is she even active right now?
Yeah. Like she'll send these screenshots and I mean, to her defense, they probably don't make sense. But it's like, if you take one of those orders, I bet you start to see better orders. But
Yeah.
she doesn't want to take it. I'm like, okay, well, you can't complain when the app doesn't work because it works for me.
Yeah,
And
100%.
and I'm like, well, and like the gig wars that we're doing. I'm like trying to challenge her, and she's like, well, you can't do the Curri app, and I'm like, why? You have all. I'm like, so you want me to not make money that week because you don't have an app, but you have
Wait.
all these other
Oh,
apps.
but wait, Gary and I were talking about this because Gary made the app. Gary and I talk all the time.
Yeah,
So Gary and I were talking, and can't you set all the perimeters? Can't you say that no
yeah,
other is allowed? So
yeah,
other is Curri, bro. I'm doing Curri.
yeah. So she's like trying to like
Well, I mean, I
make
guess
me
you
not
guys
make
could set
money
up a war
because
that says no other.
yeah, but
But I mean, the way it looked to
it's
me
her
is
way of
like,
getting out of.
yeah, I mean, an open invitation for a gig war should be, it's all
Yeah,
allowed.
yeah, and she's just she doesn't understand that she's the reason why she doesn't do Curry because she doesn't accept orders. So she thinks I should do it during our contest because she doesn't do them. I'm like, I'm not losing money because you are selfish.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, but then in her market, Instacart or DoorDash might be great,
Yeah,
and it
like she
might
does
suck in yours.
rideshare.
So you gotta offset it. That's what we
Yeah,
do. I
like
mean,
she does Amazon Flex. I don't do Amazon Flex.
yeah.
She does rideshare. I don't. I'm not doing no human trafficking, as I call it.
So speaking of, before I sign us out here, I do have two, or I am gonna sign us out, but then there's gonna be two quick things that I'm gonna play here real quick. I'm gonna do a little promotion for two things coming up. One of them is Red's Gig Wars, and Gary's. It's can be found at Gary's apps where you can find Maximo, Driver Utility Helper, Flex Alert, and you can also find Gig Wars now. Go to Gary'sApps.com. Or MiddletonTech.com and go to the apps and you can find it there. I know there's some other links that people have been giving out to where it's /Gig Wars, but you don't need to do that. You can just go to Middleton or Gary's apps, go to the apps. You'll see it's the last one down. And yeah, I'll be back here next week. And every week we're going to start having other guests. And then it's going to be more and more guests too. I'm going to start bringing on Curri guests, but then if Josh wants to come back and talk, because the more we start getting
Yeah,
in here, the better. So there's going to be some there's going to be some long haul carriers. There's going to be some carriers who make money that I have never seen on Curri, but I know what they make. And because they have like flatbeds and stuff, big trucks, they're making a ton. So I will have some of
I'll
those
send
people
you
on too.
an email with the conversation I had with the Curry rep
Yeah,
today.
you actually you
Too.
should, because that I will get over to the right people, because there's already a change being made, but they won't like to hear that.
No,
But
it's anything would be appreciative.
right. No, I think the people I know are going to agree with this comment or what
Yeah,
we're saying here. They're going to agree. Like, well, why was no compensation given? They're going to understand what happened. I've
I
made it clear to
appreciate
them.
it.
I stack all the time. So
Oh yeah, I want. That's the. I mean, I wish I could stack more often. It would be so much fun, but I don't see enough orders that go in like somewhat the same area. So,
well, and
or at least
that's where I'll
at the same
say.
time.
But that's where I'll say wait now for spring, because you are in Philly, and Philly's a pretty active
Yeah,
market. So
and I also wasn't on till late summer last year. Like,
right.
what was it like August, September? I didn't get
Yeah.
on till
Yeah.
maybe even later. I think it was like November maybe. It wasn't too long.
Right.
But
Yeah. It
I'll
probably
send
was
you,
like late October or November.
yeah,
But
because I wasn't on long for much. But
summertime
I
is
will send,
popping. I mean, wintertime's been good. This winter was better than last winter for me. I know a
yeah,
lot of people in their markets are saying, no, wintertime isn't good. Well, okay, but that just means no matter what it is, it's going to get better here, though.
Yeah,
Like
when you
my
said it
market's
was
good, it's about to get great. So
when you said the wintertime it slows down, I was expecting like to see one order a week maybe. I was moving them store to store every day almost. It was pretty crazy. And then
yeah,
that's when the one guy at Sherman Williams said, yeah, they're told by their bosses not to order get their trucks are instead of once a week, it's once every other week or once every 3 weeks. So they have to do a lot of store
yeah.
transfers.
Well, guys, that's a wrap. Josh, thank you for joining me. But by the way, today I
No
appreciate
problem.
that.
I
And
you've
you
been
guys watch these.
asking me to do it. You've been
Yeah, no,
asking
I
for a
love it.
while to get me
Yeah,
on
man.
here, so
Yeah,
I
you did it.
appreciate it.
And I appreciate it.
And
So I'm gonna let you guys
you got
watch these outros though, as I hit this, because I know it'd be easy to jump off, but you want to watch these. There's a commercial for Red, and then one for the Kim and Zach thing, and then a sign off. And see you tomorrow night on the round table, and next week back here. Peace, guys.
I'll see you.
Going crazy. DJ, this a hit.
Are you tired of being limited by the algorithms of the courier apps? Do you want to take control of your earning potential as an independent contractor? Hi, my name is Hannibal, and I run the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. Tune into the Beyond the Algorithm live stream with my co-host Steve Rideshare Rodeo. In each episode, we share valuable insights and tips on how to achieve income beyond the courier apps and become a true independent contractor. Join us for practical advice and inspiring stories that help you know your worth and maximize your earning potential. Don't miss the Beyond the Algorithm live stream on the Hannibal is Hungry